Okay, Israel. Hope everybody is doing well today. We are back at it. Shout out to Kyle Cobb and his congregation that he's responsible for. California all the way to Georgia. Hope everybody's doing well today. Shout out Stream of Wisdom, Virginia, Izakia, Stream of Wisdom Houston, Quatazop, Stream of Wisdom Rochester, Zion. Hope everybody's doing well, fighting a good fight. We're in the dog days of summer right now, or at least it feels like it.
It's the first.
Yeah, it feels like we're already like in the middle of August. That's the dog days of summer. But it feels like we're in mid-August, but we're just starting in July. Hope everybody's doing well today. We have moved on from the faith classes. Hope everybody's okay with that.
I don't know about that.
We'll go back one of you. Listen, we teach Outlook all the time. We'll get it again. But today's class, the topic is instruction in parenting, step parenting, and co-parenting. And I think that is it's all parenting. I just want to, say all the parenting spectrum. Yeah. Because there is an understanding I think Israel needs to be conscious of when we're parenting. And the first thing we got to realize, whether we're parenting, step parenting, or co-parenting, is parenting. And we can't sit back here and separate one type of level of effort towards another. If I have my biological children, I have to operate and give the same energy and focus and love as I would with the air quote step parent, stepchild, versus the air quote co-parenting situation where you might have responsibility for a certain period of certain days of the week, certain days of the month, and the other parent has to sit back here and take responsibility the rest of the time. There is a certain mindset that I think is important to teach and establish with some clarity so we can be better parents, be better fathers, be better mothers, be better people in the raising of our children. And the first verse we're going to go into is 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1 through 3, just to lay out the basic orders of how things need to be, the order of how the parenting responsibilities should flow through. So the first verse you're going to go to is 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1 through 3.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. Be followers of me, even as I am also of Christ.
So first thing is first, it's always easier to follow an individual that's doing things the right way. And Paul is like, listen, I follow Christ. Paul's like, I follow Christ to the best of my ability. So now that I am that example in Christ, now you guys just got to follow my example, and you'll be on the course you need to be to getting locked into Christ. This is what leadership, this is what being an ensample is all about. The more we tap into being as great of an example to our people as possible, then what ends up happening is you give people around you, wives, children, brothers, younger sisters, ample opportunity and an easier path to learning how to grow from them also. So all Paul is saying is, I am maxing myself out to be an example. Follow my example in Christ.
Now, my question would be this. We teach a lot of different topics. Why would you be going to this topic, this direction?
Well, I'm going into this because it still deals with parenting. And what people don't understand is when we have husbands and wives come together, one of the major issues that happen with husbands and wives is both sides have different parenting styles. The father, huh?
If any.
Well, we're going to that part
I know.
later on in the middle of the class. But everybody has different parenting styles, different views of development, different views of what it means to be a husband, different views of what it means to be a wife. Paul is explaining, hey, there has to be one example from the front that everybody ties in their energy and focus and their mindset on. There's got to be one example that everybody ties in. And the truth is, the example that needs to be followed is the example that's closest to Christ. Is the example that's closest to following Christ's way. Okay, we're going to explain that. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them unto you.
So Paul is like, listen, as he's sitting back here and going from church to church, from city to city, he's like, make sure you maintain and keep the orders that have been passed down to you before I left. Keep the order, keep the discipline, keep the example laid down. Read on.
But I would have you know,
Just as a reminder, so you understand this, read on.
that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. As much as sisters a lot of times don't think that men have somebody to answer to, they do. All men have to sit back here and have somebody to answer to, whether it's brothers, more importantly to Christ. When everything is said and done, the men have to answer for how well they ran their house, how much attention and development their children were given, how much love and mercy was given to their household, to their wives, to the people that matter. That responsibility ultimately ends up in the man's hands, because he's the one that the Most High is, think about this, the Most High is looking at and judging the man for how the house runs.
Yeah.
So as much as women are arguing and fighting to push their way, what they don't realize is that if your husband listens to you, y'all are going to fall with the ship anyway. He has to sit back and hold his position and stay strong in the positions he's taken for the benefit of everybody in the house, for the stability of every single person in the house. And we have to be conscious of that. So as you're getting caught up in how you feel and how you feel your husband might be talking to you, operating around you, you have to look at things big picture, like your husband is being trained to look at things big picture. And big picture is these decisions have to be based on what's better for the entire body. What does the body need to thrive and to be accepted by Christ? Okay? Read on from the top, verse 3.
1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man.
So he's letting you know the head of every man is Christ. Man has somebody to answer to, an example and a standard to answer to. And a woman has a standard and an expectation that she has to follow as well. Read on.
And the head of Christ is the Most High.
And Christ has an example he has to follow. And if that relationship stays in sync, the man stays locked into Christ, the woman stays locked into her husband, her children through the spirit of, if the husband and wife are obedient, then that child's going to lock in and be obedient to his or her mother, and eventually the father, and the whole house operates in sync. But it's all based upon humility and order and a respect for the order the Most High has laid down from the beginning. But we're starting here, Dawiyat, because this is where everything falls off. If the children or the young adults see the mother always questioning and attacking the father, then what is the incentive for the child to be respectful in order to you? If they see a lack of harmony and respect and order at the top, then why should children be obedient?
They're expected to be obedient.
But the truth is this, what we're going to go into are the many hypocrisies that we see in the household, that we see in everybody's God-authorized position in life. The Most High authorized the man to be the decision maker, the leader, and the head. The Most High authorized and ordained the wife to sit back and support that husband. And consequently, the Most High, because of that union, and because of that air quote, order and togetherness and humility that should operate from the top, then it should cascade down to the children. And the children should learn order. Where do the children learn anything from? From their parents.
The examples now.
I always go back to this joke I talked about in the 80s about this Edomite guy hems up his son for smoking pot. And he says, well, why are you smoking pot, man? What are you doing with this? You're throwing your life away. And he has him hemmed up and he's checking him. And the kid was like, I learned it from watching you, Dad. I learned it from watching you. And then it was the infomercial. It says, parents your kids are looking at you.
The kids are watching.
You got to sit back here and be a better example. The point is this. We sit back here and so many times want to chastise and correct and be fire and brimstone on our kids, but never realize that we're just as lazy and selfish and rebellious as them. More than likely, more than them. How can I get mad at a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 8-year-old, 6-year-old about not listening and changing when 30, 40, 35, 25-year-old people don't listen and follow? Does that make any sense?
I'm an adult.
So that makes you worse. You're an adult that can't follow. What damn sense does it make to be an adult that can't follow, but you're chastising your child for not following? What kind of hypocrite are you? We're going to sit back here and go continually in class about this. The chapter in 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1 to 3, just reminds us about the order. And before we go into parenting, step parenting, whatever you want to call it, there has to be order at the top. Without order at the top, nothing else can get accomplished. Okay? So let that verse go and go to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. We're going to build up to this. Just be patient. We got some goodies in here. 1 Timothy 2 and 15.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Yep.
It says, notwithstanding.
Now read verse 12, and matter of fact, 11, 12, and 15.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. Let the woman learn silence.
Nope. Read it again.
Oh, Slakia. Let the woman learn in silence.
Listen, the truth is this. The woman has to learn in silence. Because the funny thing is this, that might sound like a chauvinistic statement, but I didn't bring my apocrypha. There is a verse in the apocrypha that talks about
Slow to speak.
slow to speak, quick to hear. Where is that verse?
Ecclesiastes 19.
Somebody give me the exact one. Slow to speak. I think it's 32.
James 1:19 has this.
Is it?
Yeah, James 1:19. Can somebody read that? Whoever has it. James chapter 1 and verse 19.
We're going back to Timothy.
Yeah, I don't know. Ecclesiastes 20.
Yeah, read that. Ecclesiastes. James.
Talk. James 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak.
So he tells men to be quick to hear and very slow to speak. Because he understands whether it's men and women, you're not going to learn anything yapping your mouth and talking. Now, lawfully, the Most High is saying with men, you have very little space to say anything. And you should be in silence as well. What was that verse in Ecclesiastes? What did you get? What did it say?
I got one in Ecclesiastes 20.
Let's read it.
Ecclesiastes 20 in verse 8. He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity.
A wise man just keeps his mouth shut until the appropriate time presents itself. So this is not just a knock against women. Men, when they're put in position to be up under other men, have to be silent as well. Because how was a young student going to learn how Christ operates yapping his mouth? So when it's men amongst men, and you're dealing with experienced men versus unexperienced men, those inexperienced men have to be quiet, listen, and learn. And that same dynamic that we as men have to operate in, the same goes for women in regards to how women have to deal with their husbands. Nagaha?
What are you looking for? Ecclesiastes 26 and 14?
Maybe. What does it say?
A silent and loving woman?
No, that's not the one I want. It was about men. 2 Timothy, 1 Timothy 2 and 11 again.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence, with all subjection.
So that means this is still dealing in this chapter, dealing with how she's supposed to operate around her husband. She has to learn when there's every day is a learning opportunity. So before you want to sit back and defend yourself, I can't tell you how many times in counsel I hear, well, my husband's not hearing me out, hearing my side of the story. When it's time for you to listen, stop trying to show your side of the story and just obey. There will be a time where you will be able to explain yourself. We tell this to men all the time. We say it to men all the time. When you're in the heat of the battle, we don't got time for a 30-minute dissertation about why I'm telling you to go left and then hop, skip, and then roll to the right. Sometimes you just got to go do the thing, and when everything is settled, then come back and we'll talk about the why. We tell this to men. Why are women above that? Why can't women learn to just follow in the heat of a moment for the sake of the bigger picture? As we go into parenting and talking about parenting, we got to understand that the dynamic between the husband and the wife starts with, in the heat of the battle, people are watching. Don't we say this about young men and ranking men also? Or really, older men and middle-level men. There can't be a lot of bickering between the heads of the camp or the higher captains and the mid-level captains. Because when they see that bickering back and forth, then the people that are younger feel that they're justified to do whatever the hell they want and be out of order. Do not we talk this all the time?
Come.
And if we teach and talk this in a camp, a lot of times sisters don't think that men have to be subject to the same thing that they're putting y'all through. But they do. And everything that they're telling you that you have to submit to, they're having to sit back here and learn to submit to. So this is why husbands so many times are like, listen, if you can't do this basic request, then why are we even messing around? What the hell is this? Because I tell you what, they wouldn't be wearing vests in this camp if they just speak how the hell they wanted to, when the hell they felt like it. They'll be sitting here with some goddamn t-shirts, some rock t-shirts, some shit like that, some hip-hop t-shirts, sitting in class.
True.
If they felt they can say what the hell they want to say when they want to say it.
If not suspended.
Oh yeah, or be kicking rocks. It's really okay. I'm not arguing every day with a grown-ass man about wanting to do this. Because you know why? If I got to argue with a grown-ass man about wanting to do this, then why are you here?
Because that means you don't want to do this.
Then I'm not arguing with you. We don't have to argue. There doesn't need to be any worries. We don't got to argue. We don't got to fight.
This is all voluntary.
This is voluntary. So if you don't want to be here, there is literally a door there that you can enter or exit. It's not personal. But we teach our men to operate like this amongst each other. So don't be flabbergasted when they open the door for you. Because you know what? For everybody that doesn't want to live this life, guess what you're doing? You're opening the door for another person who wants to. I can't count on my hand how many times brothers want to leave. You don't want them to leave, but as soon as they leave, somebody else comes out of nowhere. And it's like, within a month or two, maybe 3, another person is trained and everything is okay. I'm not saying this as a threat or some scare tactic or some boogeyman thing.
That is the way of the Lord.
This is the way of God. If I want to flip and start huffing and puffing, guess what?
I don't want to teach.
Well, you know what? There will be somebody who wants to teach.
Fine.
And I will be sitting back here in the house looking at it like this. What's going on today? What's going on?
I would like to teach.
I want to see what's going on. I want to teach. Because everybody who gets disgusted at their position and the Most High removes them, then they want to sit back here and be sneaky Pete and get back in and see what's going down. And want to be a part of the body. Am I right or wrong?
Come on.
But when you was in there, you don't want to be there. And then God sees it and He removes you. Then you want in. You're like, nah, it's too late. You gonna start from the bottom again? In lineup? No, you got it, man. They ain't going back and doing that from the beginning.
You can come back from where you were, not where you left off, but back decently in order, back from the bottom and work your way.
Nobody wants that. So that's it. That's like a sister. You want to flip out and trip and leave? Then when you're number 2, don't trip. You gonna come back number 2? You gonna fall in?
I don't think you love me anymore.
Well, now we got to come back and prove it again. You might be at your own apartment while your husband's with the wife that came in and filled your spot. I'm not here to talk boogeyman stuff. I'm just trying to sit back here and explain
going over the
Bible.
About the same scripture we're going over. That person is going to get your lesson.
Huh?
People don't understand that the lesson that you reject, this is for men especially.
Because once again, as we read into this class,
Yeah.
what are we supposed to be here for? We have to learn very early in this process to learn God's virtues. To learn to love the process of loving the Most High's virtues that He has for us. There's virtues and lessons between husbands and wives. There's virtues in learning how to submit to your husband. There's virtues for men to learn how to be obedient to their captains and heads. There's virtues in learning how younger sisters follow older sisters. There's virtues all around here if you choose to look at them as virtues.
And
if you choose to look at them as burdens, and this is BS, I don't have to do it, then you don't. Then you got to learn to deal with the consequences of what you don't want to subject yourself to. And these are the facts. Now, I don't want to take too much on this. What you got?
Just on the point that Kawakab just disconnecting the classes, Kawakab's class on the Q&A was about servitude. It's about I'm willing to serve. So if we're serving, the husband serving the wife by instructing, because people who complain, the husband don't teach me.
You know it's crazy, and I'm gonna say this: not every man that walks through these doors is the greatest orator on earth. You're not gonna have like a whole camp of Malcolm X's I can sit back and tell these awesome stories, Zach, and have everybody in awe with their communication abilities. A lot of times, the Most High, no, all of them, the Most High gives you the husband that has the capability to teach you. You know what the best teacher of them all is? Being the same person every day. Being the same loving, consistent dude every damn day. They might not have the best words, the fanciest speeches, but their actions show kindness and love and mercy and patience. And you just can't figure it out. It's right in front of your face. Because he ain't sitting back here creating pimp tactics to get you to listen. Then all of a sudden, you don't understand and you don't respect this guy's message. That's the truth. You better lock into my order. Watch me. But then the person who's like that needs to sit back here, and that man needs to learn how to be more patient and merciful and loving. All I'm saying is everybody ain't perfect. But there's a lesson if you're humble, wives, if you're humble, there's a lesson in your husband's example. Are you humble enough to find it? Are you humble enough to see it? Are you humble enough to trust it? Because there's lessons there if you love the virtue. So, let's continue. Verse 12. 1 Timothy 2 and 12.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
You know what usurping authority is? Arguing. Going back and forth. That's usurping authority. Constantly in the midst. You know what's arguing? When you just can't get the damn request done before you speak. Why can't you get the damn job done, then come back and ask the questions? That's how you know it's pride. It's got to be a 30, 45 minute smoke bomb deflection about why it's got to be a certain way. All because you just don't want to do the order that's requested of you. That happens all the time. So the Most says, don't usurp authority over a man. Stop taking a position of arguing, contending, questioning, not listening, and learn to follow. Read on.
Verse 15. Oh, sorry, it says, usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. All
that means in real life terminology, can you follow the order that's requested to you? And after you do the requested order, after you do your job, then come back to your husband that gave you the order and ask why. Why did you want it done this way? How you feel, how tired you are, how long of a day you had, how much your arthritis is on blast, or your knees is on fire. It has nothing to do with the point. The point is everybody's hurting. Everybody's tired. Because if that husband doesn't want to counsel with you when he's tired, he's a bad guy, right? When he doesn't give you the attention that you're looking for when he's had a long day, he's wicked. But you don't understand what she's going through because she's just having a tough day. You see the hypocrisy in that? So, give me verse 15.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15.
The class is supposed to be about parenting. We're supposed to be about parenting. But we can't get to parenting because there's rebelliousness between husbands and wives. And a lot of husbands and wives don't see eye to eye. But let me bring that up to what camp terms and God's terms is seeing eye to eye. The scripture says, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? But what do they be agreed on? They're agreed on their husband's vision. Their husband's tone and tempo that he set. That's what agreement is. Agreement isn't this 50-50 situation where I get to listen to what you say, you get to listen to what I say, and we'll sit back and split the verdict in half. No. The husband sets the tone of how things should be. The agreement is in the wife submitting to the spiritual tone that the husband sets. I'm not talking about wickedness. I'm talking about spiritual tone, work ethic, discipline, the expectation that your husband has set for the house. That wife has to submit to that tone. So, with all that submitting, with all that, let me finish this part. With all that submission and all that wife agreeing to the tone and the way that the husband wants things done, now we jump to verse 15.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15.
So the salvation of a wife is based on how well she serves and follows her husband, and what?
It says, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
So do you think that it's just about a woman having babies that determines their salvation? It's not just having kids. I done had 7 kids. I'm getting to the kingdom. That ain't the only thing. I'm sorry. There better be some work and development put into these children, which what brings up salvation for a wife. And I have news for you. We read constantly that whatever the Most High brings in your life, the husband he brings in your life, it was supposed to be them. He brought that husband to you, right? What does that mean? If he brought that husband to you, he also brought those stepkids to you. You didn't know that, huh? When y'all was on the phone, smiling and joking and shit. and doing footsies and kicking your feet up in the air on the phone. Everybody's voice is getting a little lower on the phone. For real? Nah, that's crazy. I know that's crazy. Yeah. You tripping. You tripping. You aren't thinking about raising babies and kids that ain't yours. But guess what? That's part of the damn deal. And that's part of your salvation is how you rear those children. How you rear those children that aren't yours. It determines your salvation just as much as how you raise the children that come from your own body. And if you lack the capacity and mercy and love to treat these children that don't come from your body like your own, you're in danger of not getting salvation also. It's sick how a lot of times our women don't have enough love and mercy in themselves to fight what's in their head and their feelings and their natural inclinations to love those stepchildren with the same love as they love their own flesh and blood. Now I'm going to tell you what makes loving a stepchild harder than loving your own. Me and a brother was talking about it earlier today. You know when you're chastising and you're operating with your own kid, they have certain ways of rolling that they might piss you off, but there's parts of them that you can identify with. So as much as this kid's wilding out, I kind of get that craziness. Because that part of them is either me or the daddy I married. So there's more patience and there's more mercy with the kid that I understand. The problem with the stepkid is I don't understand them. Why is this little you-know-what throwing a fit like this? This shit don't make any sense. I'm going to try to sit back here and calm him down here and calm him down here, and it's not working. I'm just going to walk away. This kid's mean. This kid isn't lovely. Why am I going to waste my time? This kid ain't mine. The problem is you don't have enough love and mercy and long suffering in yourself to understand the kid enough to actually give them what they need for their spirit. You know why? Because you're ready to sit back here and go home and take your shoes off and lay up and watch TV or novelas and relax and not sit back here and put the work into understanding all of the children that the Lord brought to you. The Most High brought all these children in your life. I know dealing with being a step parent isn't easy because it takes an entirely different way of looking at them to understand their niche. And what I've done even as a teacher, I don't even start correcting brothers until they make sense to me. There'll be brothers that come in the truth. And you know what? I'm not going to correct them until I take the time to understand how they tick, how they think. Why do they do the things that they do? Until I learn enough about their patterns to have a better understanding of them as an individual. What do we want to do? When we sit back here and we call ourselves step parents, all of a sudden this yelling and cussing comes out. And yelling and arguing. Because if you don't make sense to me and you don't listen to me at the time and pace that I want to be listened to, then I'm going to check you. And I'm going to correct you. And I'm going to back off of you. But the crazy thing is your husband took time to understand you. Listen to you. Understand where you were coming from before he started correcting you. So what's happening is you want your husband to operate with you in a way you're not even willing to do for your own kids or your stepkids that the Most High brought in your life. We want to sit back here and operate like this is his kids. The Most High brought them kids to you in your life. He brought those kids to you in your life. Yes?
And just for clarification, you're talking about from either parent.
Yes. On either parent. He brought those kids to you in your life, and you have to learn. My first marriage, there was a kid my rib had, and I was like, man, this guy don't make no sense to me. I'm speaking from experience. Like, this dude is doing shit that don't make any sense. There's 4 meals that he's putting under the dishwasher. I want to straight box this guy. Like, we want to box. This is ridiculous. Because I got to pull this shit out of the damn dishwasher. This is BS. Under the dishwasher. Under the damn dishwasher. Yes. I was like, this is ridiculous, bro. And I was about to hit him out, and he gave me this look like, and I was like, I can't do this, bro. This is child abuse. This is child abuse. He just gave me one of those looks like, bro, I can't. I gotta stop. I just said, I had a Junior. I said, boy, I said, listen, I want to go into that. I said, Junior. I said, listen, Junior. I'm trying, man. I'm trying not to put hands on you, bro. But this ain't making no sense. This ain't making no sense, man. I'm like, damn, this ain't making no sense. Life, but you know what?
That's real life.
I'm talking to him, and he knew I was trying not to strangle him. And he looked at me. He was like, this guy gave me mercy. He gave me mercy, and I know he appreciated it. I know he did. Well, listen, he was cool later.
Yeah.
He was cool later. I had to sit back here, and we used to work on reading with him. I used to work on reading with him. I said, I gotta go in direction with this guy. I gotta deal with him like I did with the brothers in the camp. And that's what we're gonna sit back and work on reading. We're gonna sit back and catch him up, try to catch him academically. And then all of a sudden, I just enter into him. And then let's correct him. I told the mom, I said, you correct him now. It's me hitting him, it's my fire. I said, let me just get to know this dude and put into him. And when I started doing that, then as I came and gave orders, they were respected a lot better. They were listened to a lot better. They were adhered to a lot better. When I'm sitting back, I am your elder. I am over you.
I'm the man of the house.
Exactly. I'm the breadwinner. Nobody listen to that crap.
I want to work today.
Kids ain't listening to that crap. People ain't listening to that crap. You gotta earn respect. Damn it. Sound issue. Give me a second. I'm gonna go back to how we did it. No, that's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
We wanted to build to a microphone. How are things now? So, what am I trying to say? I had to change my approach because I got caught into that correction fire mode, and I said, this kid doesn't understand me, and I don't get him. We can sit back here and have this air quote standoff, and he'll just sit back and obey me because he has to, not because he wants to. I had to learn what humility is. Just because you're their elder or quote unquote age doesn't mean you've earned their respect and earned the justification to push them the way you need to push them. But we're going to go into this as class progresses. Okay, sounds better. Read Lamentations 5 and 3. Read that.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 3.
Change it up and put this on the side. This is burning. This is the top is burning. You're not coughing, man. It's good.
Lamentations 5 and 3. We are orphans and fatherless.
He says, we are orphans and fatherless. Read on.
Our mothers are as widows.
Listen, and obviously Lamentations deals with Israel and the fall of Israel. But hell, even in America, we've fallen. And a lot of our people are orphans and fatherless. What does that mean? We're sitting back here and we always talk, we find pride in rebuilding the nation, right? What do you think rebuilding the nation is? A lot of times we think sitting back here rebuilding the nation is, I'm going to have me and my woman and all we're going to have is our kids together. That is a lie and that is a fantasy. Part of rebuilding the nation is developing our own children and investing into the children the Most High brings into our life. The orphans and the fatherless children that the Most High brings to our life. Whether the crazy thing is whether they come from our rib or the husbands, hell, the young men that come into the truth are like sons to us that we have to take responsibility for. He's letting us know this is part of the responsibility for husbands and wives. We have to sit back here as young sisters and be willing to take on that motherly responsibility. Let's look at it this way. The kids might have their biological mother, but do they have a spiritual mother? Do they have a spiritual mother? So that means there's still a void, a spiritual void there with you and your children. And do you have enough love in your heart to be that spiritual mother for them? And be able to show them as much love as you would with your kids? That's the challenge. Because that's where your salvation lies. Your salvation isn't based on how many hours of studying you log in, how many breakdowns of people you're cutting and chastising on the street. Your responsibility is how much love you can give to your children and the children that the Lord sent to you that are yours, that might not have come from your body, but they're yours.
They're your responsibility in Christ.
They're your responsibility in Christ. Because that's what you chose when you chose an Israelite lifestyle. So, let that verse go. Go to Proverbs 18 and 24.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24.
Scripture. Everybody wants somebody to treat them.
Yep.
Everybody wants somebody to be charitable.
Yep.
Everybody wants somebody to understand them.
Yep. That's what we always hear. Sisters' complaints about their husbands. You don't listen to me. You're not patient with me. You don't understand what's going on with me. You don't understand my ups and downs and my ebbs and flows and my emotions.
Care.
You don't care about me. All these things that sisters be saying, guess what? We're going to read this in Proverbs chapter 18.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24.
Read it.
A man that hath friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother.
You know, it's crazy. That wasn't even the verse that I wanted.
That's a great scripture. I think it's
but that's the point. If I'm going to sit back here and if I want friends, I got to show myself friendly. If I want my kids' allegiance, then I got to show enough love. And we're going to go into very shortly about what type of love a person has to show to get it back. We're going to go into the specifics of what a parent has to do to justify love and respect. Because Philo talks about it. When we get into Philo, and I don't go into Philo because Philo is not gospel, but Philo does explain. What I liked about this Philo passage is he explains in two separate occasions the culture of how Jews dealt in raising their children. And in ancient times, and the like, what justified, because you're reading the law where it says how parents or children obey your parents, right? Honor your father and mother, right? Mm-hmm. But we're going to sit back and read about what are the things that justified that child to honor their father and mother. And as we read this, ask yourself, are you doing this to your children? And are you doing this to the stepchildren? To not only, I don't even want to say stepkids. So that's a negative connotation. Are you doing this to the kids that you're responsible for now that aren't from you? Your added family. Do you do that same thing to them? Because if you are, that justifies the love and respect that comes back your way that you're expecting from them. So it says, he that wants friends or has friends, they show themselves friendly. That means you have to be proactive in relationship building before you expect a return. We understand that in friendship, right? Yeah. There has to be a proactivity in dealing with children to get that response back.
The word friend.
I just look at my grandson right now. You know, when he comes to grandma's house and grandpa's house, this dude's the king of the house. This dude is the goddamn king. And he walks around and he'll look at his grandpa and he's smiling like a chessy cat. I'm doing all kind of moves to shake around, get his attention. He looks at his grandma, does the same thing. He looks at his auntie. She's doing everything to get his attention. He's like, man, I am the you know what here. I am loved here. And I know it. Everybody in this room is picking me up, playing with me, and make me feel like I'm top of the world. Yeah. That's important. Do you do that for all the kids in your house? Are you doing that for all the kids in your house? Not just your blood. Well, your blood, you doing that with your blood? How about that?
That's a real question.
And then if you are, I hope so, great. And if you're not, you better work on it. And then if you do that, can you do it with the other kids that are in your house that you're responsible for? Are you putting that type of work where they feel that they're the most special thing in that room, in that house? That's the level of work you're going to have to put into, and I'm going to prove it. So, the verse I was going into is that wounded spirit who can bear it. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. A broken heart. Wounded spirit. That's the word. It's in Proverbs, man.
Proverbs 18 and 14.
It's 14, not 24. Read that.
Proverbs 18 and 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear?
So even using that friendly concept, when you're dealing with the wounded spirit, sometimes you'll sit back, whether it's your own kids or it's the children that aren't yours. I'm not here to act like every nut's easy to crack, and every kid is easy to sit back here and solve. Because some kids come into the picture wounded, got self-esteem issues, outlook issues, trust issues. They're like this, and you know what it takes? It takes a little love every day.
Come. Daily.
Hey, what's up? You gonna smile, man? You gonna smile, man? And eventually, they'll loosen up. But you know how parents do? They don't give a shit. I tried. They don't care, and I won't care. They don't love me. I tried. That's what people that parents that suck and are selfish do. If you haven't established a connection, how tireless are you to do that? The scripture says Israel's head is like what? And you got to be adamant. So as hard-headed as that kid is to open up to you, you gotta be that much more hard-headed to break them in the good. That's the level of commitment it takes for you to show the Most High you're worthy of salvation. How about that? But the problem is, a lot of these women in the camp and in the world, all they do, they'll get his little, you know what, some dinner and some breakfast. I'm gonna focus on my man, or my sleeping, or my life. And that's how you know what kind of caliber woman you got. You got a woman that's worth a damn, or a woman that you might want to consider kicking rocks with. How serious are they about developing your children? How selfless are they about putting your children first? And if you really have a good woman, they'll put your children first, at least the energy, the best of their energy towards them. And you might lose out. Because if you really give a damn about your kid, would you rather her be tired if she was with the kids all day? Or sitting back here bugging you about where you at all damn day long? You didn't call me back, it was 5 minutes. What are you doing? Would you rather that energy be directed that way, or sitting back here and directed towards your kids and what they need? Simple question. That lets you know how selfish or selfless they are. Where is their energy at? What do they got time for? What do they not have time for? That lets you know you're wasting your time. And maybe you should wait for that other special one. Being honest. Okay. But a wounded spirit, who can bear it? Who has enough love in him to work out that woundedness in that child? You might not be able to solve their problems. You might not have all the scriptures in the world to give them all the answers that they got. But can you show them enough love to get them to be comfortable around you? And be themselves around you? That don't require a ton of verses. That doesn't require a ton of breakdowns. That's just love and consideration. What you got?
It says who can bear it. The 13th definition of bear. Gain or win.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Who can sit back here and win that wounded spirit?
That's crazy.
Who has enough love in their heart to win that wounded spirit? That damaged spirit. That kid who's just anti-authority. Why does he have anti-authority? Why does he have trust issues? Why is he distant? Why is he the mumble king? I don't know what's up with this generation. Hey, Shalom, brother. How you doing? Yeah. Okay. How was your day today? Ugh. What's going on tomorrow? What you gonna do after work? No. I'm like, what the hell? You just mumble sound. Like, no. Games. That's the best you gonna get. Games. Sleep. I'm like, damn, I can't get nothing out of you, can I? Yeah, I'm gonna keep asking questions. Yeah. I'm gonna talk to a brick wall. For real? Huh? Tell me more about real. Tell me more about that. That's interesting. I want to know more about that sound. Where'd you learn that from? Yeah. And then they sit back here and they're like, God, this thing's not letting me off the hook. Because that's what they do. They give you those lame answers to back you off of them. Yeah. They're defense mechanisms. No. Then with their friend, oh, hell yeah! God. Got him. I don't get that energy. And then when you get back, hey, what you doing? Yeah. Hey, what you doing? Yeah. Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on? You were talking English in the room when I wasn't there. Now you're a mumble guy again. Then it's like, then you leave. Oh, yeah, I know it was crazy now. It was crazy. I got him. It was crazy, man. God, what's going on here? This is BS. I'm getting gypped out. You're gypping me out. So now, I know you're playing games. So now I'm going to sit back in the room and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about life. What's going on, man? What's happening? And it ain't easy. You might get 5 words in 30 minutes out. That's a victory. Go out, leave the room, you won. And then come back the next time and you hunt for 7 words. You think I'm lying? This generation be tripping. They don't talk. But you know what? They don't talk. Well, all he's texting is texting in his gameplay. Your thumbs are swollen or something. You're just texting all day. That's all you do. Anyway, this is not my generation. This is your generation. And it's my job to adapt to your generation. So I will. Because that's what humility is. Why am I saying this? Because I had to raise kids. Everybody just don't express how they feel. It is an everyday battle. And it's not easy. But whether you keep trying or not shows your love. But sometimes you want them to mumble. So you can go back and watch your TV and go do what the hell you want to do. Because you don't want to give anyway. You don't want to come out of yourself. These are the facts too. So once again, who has the love to keep trying, working on these schisms that our children have in this world? Who cares enough to keep giving? Who cares enough to be patient and work with what the Lord gave you as a project to develop your spirit? Because each one of these kids the Lord put you in your life is there to bring out elements of you. Yes, sir. To work on elements in you. Yes, sir.
Who cares enough to be creative?
God. But you know what creativity comes out of? Desire. You want to make money, you will find ways to make money. Am I right or wrong? You got to get paid, you're going to hustle. You want some free time? You want to carve out date night with your husband? What you going to do? You're going to cling and do all kind of shit to get date night for your husband. You're going to put the work in to get that time for you and him. Why don't you do it for them kids? You'll call the boss and get some time off for you and him. But you won't put that time in for them kids. You won't make those same sacrifices because you really don't want to do it. You're capping, you're faking, and you're trying to fake and brown nose your husband to tell him you care, but you don't. And I hope husbands are listening, call them out on it. If they're faking the funk, tell them. If they're selfish, tell them. If they leave, it ain't like they're there anyway. It's better that you have one parent raising a bunch of kids who wants to be there versus having two parents where one don't want to be there and one wants to be there. You're better off alone. Okay. Go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 9. So everybody know this is what we teach men to tell you. Be angry with us. We're the bad guys. Say hello to the bad guys. It's us. We're the bad guys.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 9. But as touching brotherly love,
or family love, read on.
Ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of the Most High to love one another.
But we shouldn't have to be teaching about how to love your children and love the children the Most High sent you. We shouldn't be having to have class about this, but you know what? It's necessary. We need like step-by-step booklets on how to love children, how to love family. What were you laughing about, Adam? Yes, for you to get. Yes. Not your way, push back. Yes. So yes, that's what's happening. That's what we got to do. We need to sit back here and take the time to sit back and teach and explain. And what we're going to go into in Philo, it's important because we have to learn how to see. There's certain nuances about family building that you don't read enough in the Bible. And that's why I'm going to Philo to explain what parenting really was even back in 100 BC. Because Philo's time was around 100 BC to around mid-50 BCE, or like AD. So he was around 100 BC to around 50 AD. Around that period of time. Yes, sir.
Was that before the Greeks? During the Greeks?
That's Romans time.
Romans time?
Mm-hmm. So this is when Philo was there. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is put this up. Philo, page 589. I'm hearing you, sis, about the nieces and bringing that influence to your house. Do those nieces come to class? Are these coming straight from the world? Because if they are, you might want to reconsider that. Once again, a lot of times what we're teaching and the perspectives we're coming from is based upon an environment that's spiritual. An environment with the husband and wife that are trying to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, if you're bringing foreign elements of children who don't know the Most High, maybe a little older, and have negative worldly habits, I wouldn't do it either. I'd have my apprehensions too. Okay? You have to sit back here and protect your spiritual family first. Okay? Now, if we're sitting back here in a step-parent situation, you at least have the power over the husband. The husband wants to serve the Most High, and the stepmother. So you can create a positive environment there and keep everybody locked in. Okay? So, let's go to this Philo. It's page 589 and 590. And it's like, I don't know if it's 228, line 228. Just read the yellow. We're going to read both. Now listen, what is explaining in Philo's like ultra-philosophical way, he's really overboard with that sometimes, but this point is important. He's explaining the value of the parents being honored in the home and the reasons why the parents should be honored in the home. Now, we'll take our time. Let's read this.
Come. It says, but those who beget or bring forth a child are in some sense the causes and producers of the child.
So they're saying these parents are the producers of this child, which means they should be respected. But there's more to this producer of this child. Read on.
Which is begotten or brought forth, and they stand in the light of teachers, inasmuch as all that they know themselves they teach to their children.
Stop. So let me read it. Let me read it because I know where to stop. You're doing fine, but I want to make sure I'm slowing it down and going there. So what Elisha just said is the father and mother, their jobs are to teach their children, and this is partially why they gain the respect, right? Then it said, inasmuch as all that they know themselves, everything that this parent knows, they teach their children. They teach their children from their earliest infancy. And they not only exercise and train them in supernumerary accomplishments. Supernumerary is a lot. And that's why I said this guy be overboard. So what he's saying is the parents' job from their infancy is to teach their children as many things that can turn into accomplishments as possible. Okay? This is what a parent is supposed to do for their child if they expect on the back end to be justly honored. This is what we should be doing to our children. Teaching them accomplishments. What do we always say about children? We've been saying it for years. Our job is to develop our children by building self-esteem in them. To teach them how to finish things and for them to see success in whatever they put their hands to.
By completing.
That's how you develop people.
Completion of what?
We were ridiculed for many years. Well, before I go there, I'm jumping the gun. Let's read on. Impressing reasonings on the minds of their children when they come to their prime.
And that word you just played into, supernumerary, it means excess of the normal. Meaning
Yes.
going above and beyond. That's
Yes.
all it is. That's what the word means. Supernumerary means going above and beyond.
That means if your job as a parent is to go above and beyond the call of duty to give your child, to help them accomplish as many things as they can from their youth up. Because that's how you build a man, and that's how you build a young woman. That's how you build strength. This is why I've always said for years, you just can't have kids cooped up in a damn class, listening to the Bible forever, and not developing them. They got to get the Bible, and they got to get worked on. They got to see themselves accomplish something in themselves so they can have some confidence in who they are. I've seen Israelites for years just stick kids in class and operate like damn Ozark Quakers and wonder why their kids are head tripping. What has to be done is you got to find your kids something to build them in, to develop them so they can accomplish something so you can build self-esteem, confidence, clarity, problem-solving abilities, learning how to deal with adversity. These things are everything in developing a child. And you have to go above and beyond everything in your heart to get them to accomplish the things you have set out for them. Yes, sir.
How you spell that definition?
Just text it to him.
I texted you. I got you.
You got to stay with me, man. I'm driving a point. So it says, and they not only exercise and train them in the supernumerary accomplishments, impressing reasonings, meaning how to navigate through life, impressing reasonings on the minds of their children.
You're instilling
a mental virtue. It's going to tell you that. And it says, impressing reasonings on the minds of their children when they come to their prime. How you develop their mentality in their youth ends up turning out to how they become as adults. You got to develop their mind in their youth and different activities and experiences to work on their mind to prepare them for real life. Then it says, but they also teach them those most necessary lessons which refer to choice and avoidance.
Wow.
This is what you're supposed to be doing as a goddamn parent.
That's supreme.
Not just feeding them. That's what parents do. Feed them and give them the belt.
Yep.
I didn't give you a great life. I didn't raise you. I put food in your belly.
Roof over your head.
Roof over your head.
Clothes on your back.
You ain't done shit with the basic stuff. You ain't done shit. I put food in your belly. That's what you're supposed to do. I kept a roof. You kept a roof over your head. So it wasn't for you? You didn't benefit from this roof over your head? You didn't eat the big piece of chicken?
Stop the cap.
You ate the big piece of chicken first. Let's act like they got prime rib. They got ramen.
Top row.
How about that meme where the parents in the car eating the meal and shit?
Yeah.
You like F them kids. You want somebody to get us some bullshit, some cereal. You're eating your damn goddamn, what's that place? A pan. You eating your pan in the car, knocking that out. Hey guys, we're low on food. We're gonna sit back here. We're gonna get some eggs. We're gonna make some eggs, guys.
Hamburger.
It's eggs time.
Eggs and bread.
Eggs and bread.
No, you
I'm
gotta.
gonna put some syrup on it, guys. It's gonna be delish.
And it is too. That is.
You get the point I'm saying. You get the point I'm saying.
Peanut butter.
We don't get them hard waffles out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Thaw them out a little bit. Get them like rubbery, and then warm them up for you. Anyway, I'm mixing flashbacks in my life too. Listen, what am I trying to explain? We're going to continue with the point. Listen, but they also teach them those most necessary lessons which refer to choice and avoidance. Your job as a parent is to develop their spirit. Then it says, the choice, that is to say, of virtues. Your job is to teach them virtues from their youth up. Teach them to love hard work, love discipline, love humility, love how to practice getting a skill in something. Learn the work ethic it takes to accomplish something so you can feel good about you. Half the challenge we have in building men up is we have to teach them how not to quit everything in their life. Because their parents never push them to finish anything in their life. They coddle them, they make excuses for them, or they don't put them in nothing, and they're just in the goddamn apartment all damn day, eating and pooping. That's the truth. And we call that a spiritual life, and we're keeping them from the world. How many times I've heard that for 20 years, 30 years in the truth? We gotta keep them out of the world from Esau's clutches. But I'm gonna sit back and make a kid who has no ability to function in real life and keep them in the damn apartment and house and kill their spirit that way. That's been happening since I came in the truth. And then they look at you like you're doing something wrong because you put into your kids. That's the truth. We finally got the goddamn proof. That was a horrible way to raise kids, is keep them in apartments and not develop their virtues. You got to put them in things to show, to see where their fears are, where their doubts are, where their insecurities are. And once you find those insecurities and those weaknesses and doubts, you work on them. You teach them how to work past their doubt, their fear, their insecurities, their lack of understanding. We're supposed to build virtues in our children from the beginning. You know what we do? We just let the white man do it. And we just send them off to daycare and let them do it.
They call the devil.
And they call him the devil that the Bible speaks of. But you don't do nothing to work on it. What do you do when you get home? You know what's crazy? I've seen Jake parents show more love to their kids than Israelite parents. Jake parents will come home from work, dead dog ass tired, body on fire, take their kids and work on them. But we got 1,000 Bible verses and don't do nothing for our kids. And think we're doing something spiritual. So, it said, but they also teach them those most necessary lessons which refer to choice and avoidance. The choice, that is to say, of virtues and the avoidance of vices. We got to teach children how to sit back here and talk through their problems. Think through their problems. Have the confidence to trust the process before you quit and get caught into self-loathing and self-hatred. Because if you don't build confidence in them now, guess what will be their vices later? Drugs and alcohol. Hanging out with low-level loser friends. Losers hang out with losers. It's the truth. But if you put the work into your kid, they'll have the self-esteem to give them a chance to overcome those vices, to avoid those vices. Yeah, but they always, I don't know what happened to my son. I gave him the best life I could. Did you? Laying up all them day after work? Just sitting back here and cooking a whack-ass meal and thinking that's enough? That's not enough. Men and women. Did you sit back here and learn your kids enough to know what they need? What vice needs to get worked on? What weakness needs to get eradicated? If I got a sassy mouthed ass daughter, I need to kick her ass until teach her how to be in order. And I mean spanking. Not no crazy Joe violence. Alright? I'm just being passionate in my speech. Forgive my passion. That's all I'm saying. Forgive that. All I'm saying is this. When you got kids that don't know respect, they have to learn respect and order. Yeah. What is it that your kid needs? Certain kids need confidence. Certain kids need to be around other kids. Because they're at the house all day and they're all playing on them sticks. They got to get pulled out of that stuff. What does your kid need? Do you even know? Nope. That's why we go to class. Oh, that's it, eh? It's just trying to force a Bible down a 10-year-old's throat? He's going to sit back and receive that and be this Bible quoting guy? He's not. Yes, you teach him the law. Hell yeah. But can you build his confidence up too while you're at it? Let's continue. There is more. So it says, but they also teach them those most necessary lessons which refer to choice and avoidance, the choice, that is to say, of virtues, and the avoidance of vices, and of all the energies in accordance with them. You know what's hand in hand with vice? Low self-esteem, no confidence, being left alone too long, not giving any parental attention to the kids. When the parents don't give the kids no attention, they're going to get attention from the world. No matter how hard you try. You don't put them into something to direct their energy, they're going to go look for something to entertain themselves. And more than likely, it's vices. If you want to sit back here and help protect your kids from vices, how much work are you going to put into it? How much you get off your ass and help them. And stop being selfish. And it don't take a bazillion dollars. It takes effort, willingness, goals, planning, learning and listening to what this person needs, this young spirit needs, and counseling and talking about, if you don't have the answer, about a strategy to help them. But you see, I didn't jump right into this because you can't get to this because the husband and wife don't want to stay connected. The wife don't want to lock into the husband. And the husband don't want to come out of his little head cake scenario. It starts with the parents. Then you can start zoning in on what this kid needs to avoid vice and build his or her virtues up. And this is going to continue. Then it says, okay, for who can be more completely the benefactors of their children than parents? So now I was going to go even more deeper into, okay, who should deserve the credit and the love and respect from the children than these parents? But what do these parents that deserve respect and love and appreciation entail? It says, who have not only caused them to exist, which is the beginning of the things you can do. I put you in this world, I can take you out. It says, but have afterwards thought them worthy of food, which is the second most important thing you could do. And it says, and after that, again, of education, both in body and spirit.
So stop. So you're saying there's education for the spirit.
Yep.
Can we say, hey, that's the devil's job.
No, whoa. This is what we say. We say we got to get your kid in class to work on his spirit, and don't worry about Esau.
No, I'm talking about most parents, but not just Israel.
Okay.
People in general, especially Jake, doing
Okay.
the demographic outside of
Yeah.
camp. The idea is, you know what? Just put them in school. That's the demon that teachers gotta deal with. But these new teachers are weird. But before they got weird, it was the parents weren't investing in the children.
Yep.
And the parents were like, I took them to school. I put them in school. That's your job to make sure they can count and read.
Nope.
That's your job.
I don't know if you've noticed the
what?
last 10, 15 years, they send homework in packets, and it's so damn, the explanation of the work is so hard, it is created for the parents to read the questions. And then you got to sit back here and sit with your kid and walk them through the homework.
Yep.
If you expect this kid to figure any damn thing out. What he's telling you is parents deserve this double honor because they sat back here and had a dual responsibility of teaching them, develop their spirit, which is what? The parents' job, got to teach them the laws, statutes, and commandments. And then you can't sit back here like 1,000 Israelites I've known in the past, don't worry about school. How many parents I've seen just don't push the kids to learn anything? I don't care what grades you get. I guess newsflash, if you don't like reading in the world, you think you're going to read the Bible? If you don't sit back here and force your kid to read English and succeed in everything they put their hands to do, they're going to sit back here and be shitty students in the Bible. How about them apples? Yep. You know how many times it's like when you push your kid to achieve in everything in life, you're looked upon as trying to be like the white man and trying to fit in the white man's world? How many times I've heard that?
Oh, no, you're trying to get them to be in the white.
Before you go any further, we're gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah.
But it's the parents' job to make sure they're spiritually educated and formally educated.
Both sides.
Both sides. All I hear from Israel is you got to keep them from the world, keep them out of the school system. You know what's crazy, right? That wasn't the case for Daniel. That wasn't the case for Nehemiah or Ezra or Joseph. They have to operate in the goddamn world and still believe in the Bible at the same time. Can we teach kids to walk and chew gum at the same damn time?
Moses, Joseph.
Everybody that was worth a damn in the Bible that the Most High respected had a foundation for their spirit to be developed and operated in the education of society. Can we sit back here and tell our kids, listen, this is what you are spiritually. Don't follow that in the world. But that doesn't change the fact that you got to sit back and do this damn homework. You're being lazy. It ain't got nothing to do with the white man and his kingdom. That's laziness. You're not doing homework because you're lazy. You don't want to go back to school because you're socially awkward and you don't want to face your social issues. This is why you're running. Stop using the white man as a reason why you don't sit back here and go to school and learn and read books. You can sit back here, read books, study, get good grades, and not be part of the beast. Out of here, got the mark of the beast. You don't gotta have the mark of the beast because you know how to read books. And sit back here and still maintain your spirit. That's so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Israel has his mindset. He said, listen, we're gonna keep going. So it said, and I have nothing wrong with homeschooling. Because if you're going to put the work in, you still got to learn. You still got to read books. You still got to sit back and set a standard for these kids. And you still got to learn, read. You got to understand history. You even got to understand the world's lies of the history so you can learn the real history. You got to learn that both of them are right or wrong. It's ridiculous, huh? Okay. Then it said, but have afterwards thought them worthy of food, and after that again of education, both in body and soul, and have enabled them not to only live, but to live well. Then it says, training their body by gymnastic and athletic rules, so as to bring it into a vigorous and healthy state. He's telling you, you got to work these kids out. You got to sit back here and challenge their spirit with the Bible. You have to sit back and challenge their mind academically. And you got to challenge them athletically. Does Israel teach that? Have they ever taught that? That's part of our problem. We don't develop well-rounded men and women that have the capacity to read the Bible, study, take the Lord serious, and have enough confidence and fortitude in themselves to read books, know the world's history, then know the Bible's history, then understand the value of work ethic in the gym, pushing your body, your mind, and your spirit. He's telling you we're supposed to be developing well-rounded men and women in the world in total. And this was happening in 100 BC. This is how we develop Israelites. Not by sitting back here, just keeping them cooped up in a damn building, reading parchments at 9, and expecting the Holy Spirit to descend on them like a dove. We have a responsibility to build abilities and virtues in our children. Discipline, work ethic, humility, hard work, sacrifice, communication skills. Break that spirit of fear. That's your job. Mom, dad, what are you doing with your extra time? Laying up, making excuses about how hard your life is? Being selfish? I don't know what's wrong with me, Hall. Yeah, you do. It was you being selfish. That was the goddamn problem. I don't know what's wrong with Junior. I didn't want to push my kid through their battles. And now I look at them at 20. They're our job to sit back and rebuild from scratch, which is fine by us. But the Bible and history lets us know how we're supposed to operate from the beginning. Okay. So it says, train their bodies by gymnastic and athletic rules so as to bring it into a vigorous and healthy state, and giving it an easy way of standing and moving, not without elegance and becoming grace. Then it says, just becoming a graceful and well-rounded individual, making you a classy, well-rounded person.
Because our people right now, brother, this generation, bro, they're and this is an obvious statement. Their leader is Cardi B, Sexy Red, Lil Wayne at one time for a good 10 years. They never instilled any type of class in our people. They're not projecting class onto our children. It's our duty to teach them social skills, teach them communication skills, teach them confidence, teach them the ability to carry themselves in public with some type of pride.
I'm going to read the scriptures to prove it. 1 Samuel 16 and 18. This is how we used to develop men even in David's time. This wasn't just Philo. 1 Samuel 16 and 18.
Go.
First Samuel chapter 16 and verse 18 reads, Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite.
This is talking about David. Read on.
That is cunning and plain.
He was taught a musical instrument. That is called a discipline. David was taught. He didn't sit back and no, he learned it. He was taught. He had lessons. He had to sit back and learn how to play an instrument because that taught him discipline. That taught him what they tell you about certain instruments is that it works
Both sides of the brain.
both sides of the brain and it builds on your intelligence level when you have to sit back and play an instrument. How many times do you see our people even push in that direction? Because we Israelites. Israelites don't do that, huh? The problem is Israelite, how we've been taught of that is we've been taught just the bare minimum with our children. Because we've been taught how to be bare minimum with ourselves. Our children, David was cunning and plain. Read on.
That is cunning and plain and a mighty valiant man.
That means he was a valiant man of war. We're going to read about that. That means he was taught war approaches. He was taught physical fighting skills, sword play. He was taught how to work his mind and his body. Musically inclined. It wasn't like he just woke up and had all this talent. That talent was developed and nurtured in him. Musical, athletic, warlike approaches. Read on.
A mighty valiant man and a man of war and prudent in matters.
That means he was taught business. He was formally educated. He was formally educated. He was taught how to process and deal with responsibility. That means he was given some type of civil education, societal education, warrior education, musical education, and his parents put him through all those things. Just like we're supposed to put our children through all this type of work. And stop letting TV raise them, and video games raise them, and toys raise them, and Xboxes and PlayStations raise them. Because that's what we do with our kids. We call ourselves Israelites, but we're selfish as hell. We don't put no time into them. And wonder why they don't come out. They come out with all these deficiencies and fears and issues and head trips. Because we don't put the work in. Because we're selfish. Let that go. That's all I wanted from that verse.
Go.
Then we go into then it said so as to bring it to a vigorous and healthy state and giving it an easy way of standing and moving, not without elegance and becoming grace. And educating, now it is and educating the soul by letters and numbers. He's telling you math is important. That means putting your kids in school is important. Learning how to write. Learning different languages. This is important. How many times you hear the Israelites say that? Your kids need to learn other languages. They can sit back and learn Spanish and English and then sit back and teach their people Spanish and English. If you have a young lady who learns Spanish, guess what happens? She can double her earnings. Right or wrong?
Okay.
But you know what it's going to take? You got to work with them. Maybe you need to get off your butt and help learn with her. Maybe that'll incentivize her or him to learn. What are you prepared to do to assist them, to give them disciplines and talents and virtues that can help them in their life? But we're so preconceived with what's going on in our life. Where we're not getting enough of all the arguments and the fighting and the complaints that can be spent developing your children if you gave a damn enough about them. But you don't. And that's why what we hear all damn day long is about arguments about what I'm not getting out of the marriage versus conversations about what these children need to make them well-rounded. That's what loving parents talk about. That's what parents who've gotten past their lives consume their minds on. What do my kids need to develop their spirit? Forget what I need. I already got my life. I already have my life. Let me focus on them. And the children the Most High gave me that aren't necessarily mine, but they're mine now. What do they need? So, it said, and educating the soul by letters and numbers and geometry and music and every kind of philosophy, which may elevate the mind which is lodged in the mortal body.
So every kind of philosophy is showing up and being on the point, like Boys in the Hood. Those that watch Boys in the Hood, Lawrence Fishburne, and he showed the kid, this is what this sign really means. They're trying to get you to join the military, trying to get you over here to do this. They're telling you different patterns of thinking. This is this person's philosophy. This person likes to go that direction. Kawakami has stories about that all the time. He tells his son, hey, your best friend's finna die.
Yep.
He told his son, your friend that you're tight with, he's dead. And guess what? That year, he died. Because his lifestyle was extreme drinking, extreme revelry. You're supposed to teach, we call it on the streets, put your kids on game. That means teach them how other people think so they can recognize for themselves. Because you can't always be there. You're going to die eventually.
But yes, I just want to bring this part out. The problem is the only way this works, and they're able to acclimate themselves, knowing the Bible, and still operate in the world, you got to have a great relationship with them. If your relationship is great with them and strong with them, then they can withstand any of this bullshit they see out there in the world. If you're tight with them, because if you're tight with them, 9 times out of 10 they're going to listen to who? They're going to listen to you. Not because I'm the parent and I fed you. And I paid my bills like I was supposed to. Stop making this deeper than what it is. You was going to buy groceries anyway. You was going to cook dinner anyway. That toy at HB was $2. You would go get you some key lime pies and I'll get this little nigga toy. I'll get some apple pie. I'll get a little nigga toy. I'll give him some toy. I'll give him some roller thing. Thank you. I'm the dad. I bought a $2 toy. Praise me. I did it. It's ridiculous, all right? Who the hell y'all think y'all are, all right? How do we think we are? Put it to the kids, man. Focus on what they need. And if you do, when they're in a pinch, they're going to go to you. When they're catching hell and going through problems, they're going to go to you. But you're sitting back here, let them operate in the world, have little to no relationship with them, and wonder why the world takes them. That's the problem. You put nothing into them to make them come back and reverence you. Yes?
That's what I was going to say. The point you said, when you invest properly into your children, when things come out that are challenged what you've taught them, the kids will literally say, no, my parents taught me X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3.
Or they'll say, man, dog, I want to do this, but let me hold off. Yeah. Then they'll sit back here when they see you, hey, man, this almost happened. When your relationship is strong, that's what happens. But are you going to put the work in with that child to get that type of relationship? That's the time. Are you going to put the work in? And it can be done if you want to come out of your life. Your life don't matter. Their life matters. If you're 30, bro, it's over. How about that? It's goddamn over. 25 with kids and a rib is over. Your life is kaput. It's kaput. It's finito. It's over, man. El fin. It's over, bro. Your life is for them now. Problem is, we got these 30-year-olds still trying to like act like they in the club. They still got it. You don't got it, bro. Stop going to the club, bro. Stop wanting to go to the club. Let's go dancing. Hey, man, let's go sit back here and watch them play. Let me sit back here and work on their music skills. Let's go to their recital. Go to their game. Go to their track meet. Let me get off my butt and go to the track with them. Let me throw the ball back and forth to this kid to build some confidence in him. What can I do to build their strength? Like I said, bro, it can be done if parents actually give a damn. Israel comes with so many excuses, and they pull the white man in the world and come ye out of the world, my people, and so you don't be partakers of these plagues. I've been hearing that verse for the longest. But you know what I read? I read about guys who could walk and chew gum at the same time, that believed in the Lord, had integrity, and knew how to operate in the world, and had to sit back and experience things in the world to build their spiritual character. Because that's what parents do for their kids. Not coddle them. You put them in a situation to reveal something about them, and you teach them how to get through it. And the more you do that successfully, they cleave to you. And then, when they get challenged in the world with temptations that they're going to be challenged with whether you do this or not, they're going to get challenged with these scenarios regardless. They're going to get challenged with drugs, alcohol, negative, wickedness. It's coming their way regardless. The only thing you can do is invest into them. Let me think, oh, he was a good child when he was 7. Every little nigga's good when they're 7, all right? Well, guess what? When they try to get in the teens, things change. Am I right or wrong? Every kid was the sweetest when they were 5. Come on, man. They start getting drinking them out when they're like 15, 16, and they're a whole other creature. But what did you do from their inception until their late teens to give them that little extra where they'll cleave to you in times of difficulty? What did you do? You was living your life. Kind of like y'all obviously TikTok is raising people now. TikTok, Instagram, they raise people. Video games. Algorithms, kind of. Well, we're going to sit back and read some more about what Philo was saying about how Israelites invested into their kids in the BCs, bro. In the damn BCs. And now all of a sudden, we can't even sit back and invest anything in our kids. We're big, bad Israelites with fringes. And we're coming out of the world. You don't think they were trying to come out of Rome? Rome was pretty damn bad, too. Rome was bad. Wasn't Rome an extension of America? Rome had their vices and wickedness there, too. Did that keep them from working on their instrument? Because other little kids in Rome want to be girls? I got something for you. Go to
Let's put that picture up.
No, I'm not putting that picture. Now listen, go to Wisdom of Solomon 14.
That's what they were doing.
Wisdom of 14, and 24 through 27.
God. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 24. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another treacherously, or grieved him by adultery.
He's just saying how Israel operated with each other, and how the society was degrading itself even back then with adultery and wickedness. Read on.
So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury.
So he says, inside of men, there's been all kind of wickedness and all kind of negative from the beginning of time. Can you give me this book right here? No, give me that. No, give me the green one right there. The green one. And look up kind. K-I-N-D. But read on.
Disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good terms.
So he says, he's just explaining how society was breaking down. This is even in Solomon's time.
This is referring to New Age. This is the Caesar Borgia.
Okay.
This is what the chapter's talking about.
Okay. So it's talking about this is a prophecy then.
Yeah, it's prophecy.
Obviously, this is still talking about the degradation of society, Rome, the whole nine. I won't even say Rome down there. I'm saying Rome, ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Okay. We're dealing with ancient Rome, ancient Greece, the old world. So it said manslaughter, blood, theft, dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, perjury, Tumults. Read on.
disquieting of good men,
Kind.
forgetfulness of good terms, defiling of souls, changing of kind.
This changing of kind, I think it's 13. It's light, bro. These words are small, bro. Where it said changing of kind, this definition, this book talks about gender. Listen, this was happening back then. The changing of kind, the push for the changing of genders. So this push, you got to look.
I got 1828.
Okay, what you go for?
It says kind. It says genus.
Yes.
Genus means gender.
Yes. So it says the changing of kind. It was a thing even in these Roman and Greek times to change your gender. The push for the changing of gender. So that was happening back then. But even Philo was saying, listen, bro, should that change you from learning how to play an instrument? You just got to be a father and a mother and be part of their lives.
Yes.
And sit back here and hover. Just mark it with a yellow marker. But listen, what am I saying? You can't use how wicked society is to keep from developing your child. You can't use the excuse of how the world is evil. The world's always been goddamn evil. It was evil in the 2020s. It was evil in the 80s. It was evil in the 90s. It was evil in the 70s. Am I right or wrong? Why are we going to use that as the reason why we don't invest into our children? Because we're just so afraid of the wicked man. But you know what's crazy? Everybody that I see that have been afraid of the wicked man, the world eats after those kids even harder. That curiosity of the world rides them harder when you don't invest anything into them. It's going to hit every kid, every person with temptation. You can sit back here and corral them and protect them all you want. They're going to want the world even more. You're better off developing their spirit and investing into them. Giving them skills and disciplines and things to build their confidence. If you want to give them a chance of escaping this world, coupled obviously with teaching the scriptures and the laws and the Bible. But if you think just giving them the laws enough, it ain't. You better build that self-esteem. You better build inside of a person to make them well-rounded in life. Or you're going to put them in a bad position. You're going to set them up to fail. Okay. We're going to continue in this Philo. So it says, so as to bring it into a vigorous and healthy state, and giving it an easy way of standing and moving, not with elegance and becoming of grace, and educating the soul by letters and numbers and geometry and music and every kind of philosophy which may elevate the mind. It's whatever learning that this kid needs to work on them. What do they need to work on their spirit? Homework is necessary. What's wrong with writing about the damn or just the American Revolution? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with reading about the War of 1812? Is it a one-way slanted story? Yes. But how does a person learn stories? You learn it in stages.
Yeah.
We think we can sit back here and teach kids about all the wiles and connivery of Esau if you don't learn the basics of education? When we start talking about this geopolitical stuff, if you weren't in school, would any of this shit make any sense?
No.
If we didn't learn about some of this stuff in history, at least a little bit of it, then I'm just talking that Peanuts talk. And I'm just talking crazy talk, because if you don't have any foundation of history, world history, American history, timelines, geography, it just go to everybody's head. So he's telling you, you need that basic foundation of education anyway. I'm not saying you got to know all of it, you got to be the super guy, but you got to have a foundation of it so that you can learn even more when you get the Bible. If you teach your children how to be disciplined in studying in the school, it'll be easier to teach them to study the Bible. And that's the truth. If they're not forced to face that sleep spirit in school, and is forced to read and study at school, are they going to sit back and really give themselves to reading the Bible when it's really time? We are supposed to develop well-rounded individuals. And you know what the truth is? It all sounds like work, because it is. But when are y'all going to decide you don't have a life anymore? When y'all going to decide that? It ain't about you no more. Wives, brothers that have children, it ain't about you have no life. Give it up. Find joy that your kid reads letters and can speak and can learn how to be dexterous with his hands. Catch a ball, follow orders, follow instruction, take correction. That matters. We have a lot to learn, man. Then it says, which may elevate the mind which is lodged in the mortal body and conduct it up to heaven. Because everything you're teaching them on earth, every discipline that you're teaching them on earth, if it's the right virtue, they can use it to serve the Most High. Work ethic, discipline, long-suffering, commitment. That can easily translate to the Bible, to serving the Most High. People might look, all that stuff is for nothing. No, it ain't. When you got to teach a person, get up at 6 o'clock every morning and commit to a team, commit to a group that's not about you. You tell me that don't resonate into the Bible with the camp? Are you serious?
Commit to a cause bigger than yourself.
Commit to a cause bigger than you? You tell me that doesn't connect directly into a camp? And for years, all we talk about is just keeping everybody at the house, watching cartoons and video games, and wonder why the kids are deficient. And they say, I'm protecting them from the white man. No, you've opened them and you exposed to the white man. Because they're watching TV that says the world's glorious. And they have no self-esteem and confidence, and they're curious, even more curious about what's out there. And you fed that in them, being over-righteous and being religious. And that's the facts. Let's continue. It says, then it says, and can display to advantage the blessed and happy qualities that are in it. When you sit back and develop your kid right, you're pleased with the end result. The kid is well-rounded, and they haven't forgotten who they were. There's this fear that if you make a kid well-rounded, that they won't choose God. Well, if you sit back and don't develop them at all, there's a greater chance they won't choose the Most High. Sure. You can't control if they choose the Most High or not, but you have a responsibility as a parent to develop them and make them well-rounded. That's your job. And a lot of our parents are stifling their children and breaking their children because they're too lazy or they're too selfish or they're too religious to put into them. Then it said, producing an admiration of and a desire for an unchangeable and harmonious system, which they will afterwards never leave. If they preserve their obedience to their captain.
They'll take your philosophies and your lessons that you taught them, that will be their life system. That will be their anchor.
They are what you put into them.
They
are what you develop them in. They are what you give your spirit to. But Israel don't put enough into their kids. And they wonder why they rebel and live their own lives. Then they want to blame Esau. That was your fault. Fathers and mothers. And it says, and in addition to the benefits which they heap upon them, they have likewise authority over the children of whom they are the parents. So they says, now I have the authority to check you and correct you. Now I can use my authority because of all the work I put in. Now I'm justified to be respected. Now you're justified as a parent for the kids to do what the hell you tell them. Because look what I've done for you. Look what I do for you. Look at all the work I put into developing your spirit. Now, there's no reason why you should be sitting back here and back-talking me. There's no reason why you should be sassing me. There's no reason why you should sit back here and not do what I'm telling you. He's still letting us know as parents, we want the utmost of commitment to us and respect to us, and we put nothing into them. And you wonder where this disconnect is and the disrespect between child and parent is. You put nothing into them, and you expect this perfection of order and discipline in you. They're supposed to just love you and be important, be the most obedient person in the world, but you put nothing into them. I'm not comparing children to dogs, but I got dogs in the back, and I don't got no time. Maybe I don't have time, or maybe I'm lazy. One of the, I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy. But you know what? At night, in the day it's so hot, they don't do nothing. But they got energy to burn at night. So what are they doing? Well, my youngest dog is barking his ass off. Anything that smells off or sounds off, he's just going crazy and it's 1 o'clock. And I'm like, why is this crazy ass animal barking at 1, 2 o'clock at night? And I said, oh, War, he's barking because he has energy.
Get it from you.
Yeah, I get it from your laziness. Listen, if you would have walked me, Dad, maybe I wouldn't be barking at 2 a.m. That's the real answer. I wouldn't have got off my ass. Now, when I get home at 11, I got to get off my butt and walk it. Yeah. Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And Edomites are mad. They're mad at 2 o'clock in the morning, guys. I'm reckoning that dog is messing everybody's sleep up. And I'm coming out, shut it, nit, quiet. And the dog's like, it's cool outside. I'm ready to roll, man. I want to have fun. I'm alive. And I'm like, boy, I'm going to sleep. Dog. You tripping. So my folks going to be coming out. They going to call the police on me or something, man. You got to shish. So I'm like, just stop it. I don't hit him. Like, stop it. The dog's like, I'm like, bro, this is chaos right here. Right? All because I don't want to get off my butt and walk him. Because if I walk him and burn the energy, guess what? He'd be obedient. We want kids to be on point. We want kids with all this energy to be cooped up in the house and do nothing all damn day long. And when they turn up and run and be kids, you want to yell at them and spank them. What kind of crazy? We do the same thing as parents. Everybody can chuckle about the dog analogy, right? When that was you and your parenting, you would go home and lay up and the AC. These kids want to play and go out and walk and run. You gonna walk and run with them? I'm tired. I've been working so hard. I've been sacrificing. I gave him food today. And you know what that guy gave him food in the housing so I can lay up. And then what do you do? Then you spank them when they don't lock in because they got energy and they don't know how to tone it down. If you came out of yourself and worked and played with them, let them burn their energy, guess what happened? They'll go home and be obedient. It's that simple. Why you got to bring the belt out? Because you're lazy? It's easier to spank them for 3 minutes and scream at them than come out of your selfishness and sweat for 5, 10, maybe sweat for 30 minutes. Who in this room cannot use a sweat? I can. I can burn some carbs. And I know I ain't the only one who can burn some carbs. So why can't we burn some carbs for our kids and eliminate trauma that we're putting on them by spanking and yelling to the highest octave we can? Because we're selfish and we're lazy. We want obedience, but we put nothing in to justify obedience like these parents did. These parents put everything into their kids so they were justified in their demands. We put nothing into our kids and expect the greatest souls on earth when you're not that for your children. You had a hand up?
No, I was just, you said it right.
And that's the reality. So, let me see, is there any more? There's a lot more, but I don't want to, I'm going to leave it at that, with that point. Or any questions on that point? So this is historical evidence about the kind of effort we put into our kids. We sat back and pushed them through learning, workouts, physical exercises. They said gymnastics. That just means aerobic sports. Running, sprinting, working out, pushing your body, group events. And I'll get a snarky answer. Oh man, your brothers want to put him into the Roman and Greek games. That's what we'll get. But that guy also won't put nothing into his kid and wonder why their kids are all jacked up.
Oh,
And that's the thing. All the Roman games. But you know what? Maybe you can just teach your kid to run and jump with his clothes on. How about that? That's all you got to do. Just put some sweats on, B. And don't do it like these cats do it. And now you can actually get more rounded and develop them. Israel got so many excuses why they want to be lazy. They got 1,000 excuses why they don't want to just invest into their child. And the crazy thing is a lot of us never learned how to invest into our children because we weren't invested into. And that's part of the curse. And that's partially why it's so hard to do it because it wasn't done for us. But if we're about the Bible and breaking the curses, then let's break the curses. And let's do for us, our children, what wasn't done for us. Yes, sir.
I was going to say that if we care or love or give a you know what about our children like we claim we do, how about we do this thing?
Well, that's the point. Yes,
Sure.
but it still is based upon it might not be natural to you. And just because it's not natural doesn't mean it's not necessary. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 54 and 55.
Second Ezra chapter 5, verse starting 54. Second Ezra 5 and 54. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you.
He's telling you this. If Philo was doing it, then a lot of Israelites who love their kids invested into their kids. But the problem is, the curse is a lot of our people have less stature than the ones of the past have. We're diminishing as a nation. We're diminishing as a nation, and it shows in our selfishness. It shows in our lack of a willingness to extend ourselves and give and consider and put ourselves in other people's shoes. That's an aspect of how we have diminished and fallen in stature. Continue.
Verse 55. And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth.
Bro, the reality is our caliber as a nation in our parenting and the love we've shown for our kids has just diminished. We're just not the same. Give me Isaiah 49 and 15.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15.
I got.
Yes, so what you got there, yeah? Isaiah 49 and 15.
I gotta pull it.
Pull it. Who's your
Real quick, Exodus 32 and 8.
What was verse?
Exodus chapter 32 and verse 8.
One second. Let me show it right now. 32 and 6.
Exodus chapter 32, verse 6.
Yep.
And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink.
So the people reverenced the Most High. They gave offerings to the Most High. They ate food. They feasted. They drank. They hydrated. Read.
And rose up to play.
And did what?
Rose up to play.
And they also rose up to play. So Israel, just to show, Israel plays, bro. The whole concept of Israel don't have no sports, and Israel don't do this. Listen, bro, Israel invented everything. We're just out here doing it like the nations. But every nation has their particular sports, their particular types of challenges. I was getting the word play in Hebrews to shock. Let's see real quick. Rose up to play. 8:67:11. Strong's info. To shock. It says to laugh outright. To sport. To make sport. This is just having a good time, bro. There's nothing wrong with us having fun and enjoying each other and kids playing quote unquote soccer or kick the can or whatever game kids play now. A physical sport will be better than them just locking into a television screen and them just playing a sport with their hands, esports.
At least they're getting some physicality. Yes, sir.
A definition of play.
Yeah.
No 1:28. It says practice of contending for victory or for amusement or prize.
It's simply teaching them to be competitive. Teaching them to be competitive and have fun and enjoy themselves, bro. Like, you only live once, and then you die, and it's over. Your kids should be having good, positive experiences. That's why the camp has instituted, and I'm not saying anything like super amazing, but we try to institute once a month. The camp gets together and allows the kids to blow bubbles and do their thing. Why is that? That element is necessary. We fought for years to have the men and the core of the men raise up and keep the camp going and keep the camp, stabilize the camp. Now that the camp is more stable, we're trying to push, okay, cool. Now this kid got to have a good time. These kids have to have good memories. The families need to come together and raise the children together so they can have positive experiences. It's not just about doom and gloom. We teach doom and gloom because the world's over. But that doesn't mean we don't raise our kids, build brotherhood, build bonds. It's basic nationhood, bro.
But like the scripture said in I think it was Timothy, Thessalonians, we shouldn't have to teach classes on loving your brother and your sister and your family. But there's a need to do it.
Concerning brotherly love, I have no reason to speak this.
But we do. We shouldn't have to be teaching how to love your children, but we do have to teach Israel how to love their children and how to invest into them. Because what we do, we show love, we spoil our kids. But we don't develop them. We just give them a bunch of stuff to placate them, but we don't develop them. Or we're either the spoiling type, or we pride ourselves on being disciplinarians, and we're all fire and no love. Very few of us have balance and can give both sides. We're either the yellers and the screamers, and the kids have to sit back here and operate and walk on eggshells based on how you feel today. Is that type of parenting? Or they sit back and give the kid whatever they want. They can yell, scream, be disobedient, and you give them things to keep them quiet. Both of those are horrible parenting approaches. Horrible. But we do them. Okay? So, let's go to Isaiah 49:15.
Now, you'll be right when we get older. The kids have kids. We see their mistakes that we made to them. There's that guilt energy that people running with guilt.
Well, I'm going to say this. They lie. And they sit back here and say, man, I don't know what's wrong with that child. I did everything I could for him. They just went the wrong way. Oh, okay. They were just bad seeds, huh? You didn't do nothing about it? You didn't do nothing wrong? You were just the greatest parent on earth? They're this Diablo Jr.? Get out of here, bro. I've seen a lot of parents that want to take no responsibility for their kids messing up. Read this.
Isaiah 49:15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb?
So listen, the Most High has been talking about, read verse 14 first.
Come on. 14. But Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me.
So Israel always feels that the Most High has turned his back on him. When the Most High is not equal, his ways aren't equal. We always operate in that mind space. Read on.
15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb?
So he says, listen, can a woman sit back here and can a woman not have compassion on her child and her flesh and blood? Read on.
Yeah, they may forget.
He says, some of these women do forget. Some of these women do lose compassion and have no mercy for their children. This is an aspect of showing how we've diminished as a nation. Women lose compassion and mercy. You get to the point where the woman is just yelling and screaming all damn day long. And there's no mercy. You know the only way to neutralize that yelling and screaming? You know what? Let me just stop being angry. Yeah. And let me make it about them. Yeah. That's compassion. Compassion is, let me stop making it about how this kid is making me feel. This kid is a kid. Can I sit back and come out of myself and give them what they need? But that's how our women lose their compassion. They stop making it about serving. Woman got to serve her husband, and she has to serve and attend to the needs of her children, just like we have to serve the brothers and serve our wives and are being attentive to what they need spiritually. All of us got to sit back here and serve the weaker vessel. Women are above it. We're above it. We're not above it. When we get home, we got to come out of ourselves and be prepared to counsel and listen. Just like you got to come out of yourself after a long day at work and make it about what your younger children, your babies need. But he's saying, I'm going to after this last statement, he's like, is a woman going to ever lose that compassion? He says, some of them do. But read that verse at the end.
Yeah, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee.
He won't forget us. But our women have a tendency of forgetting. What you going to say?
I was just going to add on to that, because even when you look at, for those who have had newborns or in the newborn phase, their colicky stage. Some children, they're colicky for a couple months, 2 months. Some, they get out of that phase in a couple of weeks. But the colicky phase, when they're constantly crying, they're never satiated, the milk don't put them down, and it's like you got here before in the morning, and it's 2:30, and you've been in class all day, you put 14 hours of work in. What it starts teaching you is, my life is going to be forever tied, or at least for a good majority of 18 years, to the needs of this child, regardless of how fatigued I am, how exhausted I am, how much I don't want to be here right now. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, when they're crying and you got 1 hour of sleep before work, you don't want to be there. But if you're not there and your rib not there, who's gonna be there for it? And by nature,
you can want to scream all you want.
You can scream. I used to scream with my son. Like, man, we're gonna yell. That didn't work. I thought that was gonna sound appalling. That didn't work. So I was okay. He's stressed out. Whatever is stressing this kid out, let's focus on that. When he gets his sleep, then I'll finally get my rest too.
Because if you're not calm, they're going to feed off of the fact that you're anxious and frustrated.
And
if you're stressing out, they're going to stress out more.
And the natural impulse you're supposed to have is, you're not supposed to be comfortable with them being uncomfortable, especially as a child. You don't want to feel or get to a point where I'm okay if they're stressed out or they're in distress or they yell. Because a lot of people detach. You know, for a lot of women, there's a thing, I forgot the terminology called, but sometimes when they give birth, they're emotionally detached from their child. Postpartum depression. That detachment, but men also can become detached. One, because they didn't go through the 10 months or the 9 months of birthing the child. So the man has to be even more adamant of taking on how that child is being developed in the early years. Because you can't become detached.
Because they're selfish.
That's really why he's selfish.
How about that?
Because I don't want to be raising and feeding babies.
I don't want to sit back here and throw that postpartum on the men. If y'all do, brothers just don't want to do it.
No,
that's women work.
No,
you women do that.
I wasn't saying they're the postpartum. I was saying they have separation, or they detach emotionally from that child. Yeah. Because they don't want to be there.
It's not my job.
It's not my job, or that's what
I don't have to do that.
Exactly. But the problem with that is you start growing that inordinate level of love with that person, and it carries on in their older age.
I say it all the time. If you don't put the work in early, the kid's gonna feel that disconnection early, and it's gonna run all the way down the line.
Yes.
So if you don't, but it's the point. It ain't gonna work if you don't make the decision and determination. When I come home, it's what they need regardless.
Okay.
But this is what we have to do the whole time. Because once they're past infancy, then the kid might need to get talked to.
Oh yeah.
We had to sit back here and play video games together. Then we had to sit back here and go work out together. This kid needs to get out the house. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, a lot of times you can't even clearly see what they need because you're just so consumed with your life. Mm-hmm. And that's the selfishness. If you're consumed with what you're not getting in your life, you're not going to have the clear answer to what your child needs, and the Spirit ain't won't give it to you. It's the same thing with studying. If I'm so tired of studying and I don't want to do this, and why do I got to do this? You think the Spirit's going to give you wisdom and understanding in the Scriptures? That's the thing. If you're not going to be in tune with your husband if you keep telling yourself how tired you are and all the things you're going through already. You don't get the answers you want until you make a decision to the Most High that this is what you want. I want to be the stepmother of these children. These children are mine. They're not even stepkids anymore. They're going to be my children. And so you sit back, so you start saying, I'm not a stepmother. No, I am a mother to these kids. Who's going to make that decision? Because when you make that decision, then your love for them increases even more. Until you take ownership of your children, all the children the Most High gave you. The theories, the point keeps coming back and forth about having a natural love and working to build a natural love in your kids, but it doesn't happen unless you come out of yourself and you choose to be selfless. And they're the priority. I'm not the priority. Let this go in Isaiah. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 58. And this is what has been happening to our nation from the beginning. 56.
56. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56 reads, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness."
All this is saying is our women, when we were in our strength, were delicate and tender and loving and selfless. They were selfless. All that mattered was the needs of their children and the needs of their family. Read on.
"Her eye shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and toward her daughter."
Because something got in the way to where their life was more important than the needs of their children and their husband. That's how you can tell the diminishment of our women. When whatever is happening in their life is more valuable than their children's development and what they need in their spirit to grow. Okay? This is how you know this diminishment that 2nd Ezra and Deuteronomy is talking about is a real thing. Okay? Then we're going to go from there. 1 Timothy 5 and 8.
First Timothy chapter 5, verse 8.
Read that.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. "But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith."
So you're meaning
So when it says
connection?
yes, when it says provide in the Blue Letter Bible, to provide means to think of beforehand, to foresee, to sit back here, provide for one, to take thought for. What does that mean? Providing doesn't just mean putting food and shelter in the house. Providing for also is talking about having the foresight to see what this child needs for their development. Are we putting that type of work in? It's the foresight you need to develop the people around you. Do we take enough thought? And do we understand the children and family the Most High's got around us enough to know what they need to get them to the next step and level in their life? He says, you're an infidel if you don't take the time to commit enough about your family to give them what they need for their spirit. Because Israel wants to sit back here, men wants to just focus on the fact that I paid the bills, and give me some money for beer.
I paid the bill.
Give me some beer money so I can relax and chill. We got to sit back here and develop, invest, and have the foresight to figure out what each of these children need and our wives need to develop their spirit.
That takes commitment of mind.
That's the point. That's what the providing for is. It's the level of mental commitment it takes to accomplish this goal.
Yeah.
How much energy are you putting into developing? How many hours are you putting in meditating about each of your children and what they need for their spirit? And your rib, what does she need for her spirit? You're an infidel if you don't put that extra mental time in. It's not just providing for.
I was there.
Because how can you sit back here and provide for the house of the Lord? And what are you supposed to do for the house of the Lord? Meditate on what the body needs. Meditate on what their spirit needs. It also means I can't meditate on what they need if I'm consumed with what? What I got going on. You can't lead other men until it's not about what you got going on in their life. When it ain't about you, you can lead men. When it ain't about you, you can be a good father and husband. That's the key. That's what the providing for is. Am I present all the way? Am I mentally and spiritually present in my household? Am I mentally and spiritually present in their development and what they're going through in their lives? Or am I just going through the motions? 2 Timothy 3:1.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
I hope everybody's listening, man. It's like silence online. It's got that quiet silence, that dead silence again. Is everybody listening and sleeping and napping? What's going on? It was like this last week too. Are the Jews listening? Are people listening to the Bible? I don't know. That number can be deceiving. I have no idea. It's just like white noise while people are cooking and cleaning that. Oh, these Jews are doing their thing. And
Do better! Stop being selfish. Next scripture.
Anyway, Conrad. That's a Tawada for saying it, but I wasn't.
She didn't count. She was here.
I know. Tawada. Now I can teach you more bigger. No, I'm messing with you.
But you're right about that point about providing.
Yeah.
It's provide. It says prepare to do, to get ready.
Come on.
That's what the word means.
I know.
It means that.
You gotta prepare to develop the kids. Are you giving your mind to strategy? Are you counseling and meditating on what they need? Or am I just like barking at problems and yelling at issues and just bringing out the chancla when I'm pissed off to throw at somebody?
Chancla.
Because that's what we think parenting is a lot of times. Anyway,
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
2 Timothy 3:1.
It says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come."
And this lets us know about this diminishment also. Read on.
"For men shall be lovers of their own selves."
Men and women are lovers of their own selves. All we care about is our relationship. All we care about is our free time. All we care about is our sleep. I gotta have my 9 hours, or I can do nothing. I can't be good. No, I'm good to nobody if I don't have 9. If you gotta have 9 hours as a wife or a mother, you're not gonna be a good mother.
Yeah.
That's a fact. If you gotta have 9 hours, you can forget it.
Proverbs 31 said the woman was up before everybody in the house.
Kinda. 9 hours ain't gonna work being a mother. You better divide that by 2. If you're lucky. If you're lucky. Well, he says these end times let you know how much we've degraded. Parents, men, women are selfish. And they're coveted. All they care about is what they got going on. Read on.
Lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers.
You know what a boaster talks? You know what a boaster is? I keep telling you how good I am at something.
Oh, it's like that.
I've given you this. I've given you that. I'm such a good parent. I have provided this. I have provided that. They never sit back and think about what they didn't do. Boasters just want to give you the highlight tape. They don't want to show you the bad film. There's a lot of bad film on you. There's a lot of bad film on you at 1 a.m. at night. You're messing up. You're tripping. You're out the spirit. You're yelling. You're cussing. You're losing your mind.
Not there.
But I just want to show you the highlight tape. I was good. I was good. I was good. That's the boasters. They want to smoke screen their way through their performance. It's the truth. Read on.
Disobedient to parents.
Yeah, God. Disobedient to order.
Unthankful.
God.
Unholy. Without natural affection.
And that's the killer. Without natural affection.
That's the real bomb.
Because we don't really care about what the children need. We just care about how we feel.
It should be.
I had a bad day. So that gives me the right to cuss out kids, throw chanclas, be angry, slam pots and pans, be disrespectful to husbands. The natural affection should to get you to push past how you feel and make it about what's needed. Whether it's men, whether it's women, none of us can escape that. We have to be subject to the body and what they need versus sitting back here and just reacting and being an oppressor to everybody around.
That's what it is.
An emotional oppressor.
That's what it is.
That's how we roll. Anyway, continue.
Truce breakers, false accusers, incontent,
Yep.
fierce,
Not happy.
Oh.
Not happy and appreciative.
Nothing is
good enough. Exactly.
Nothing anyone does never satisfies my thirst.
God. Nothing that's done for you is appreciated. Listen, keep going, man.
incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna let this go. I'm gonna jump from this other one. Go to Lamentations 4:1-3. Yeah. Give me Lamentations 4 verse 1-3, and then Job 39.
Lamentations, chapter 4, and verse 1.
We're going to sit back here and get this, and we're going to also, it goes right along with Psalms chapter 39, verse 13-18.
Psalm 39 or Job 39?
Job, Salaki. Job chapter 39, verse 13 through 18. Let me get that too while we're at it. Okay, let's get the first one.
Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1. How is the gold become dim?
He's telling you how Israel has diminished. The caliber of the men, the caliber of the women, the caliber of the love that we have for husband and wife, wife and husband, parents and children. It's all diminished. Read on.
How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed?
Read on.
The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street.
Mm-hmm. The stones of the sanctuary are poured out on the top of every street. All of our defenses are broken down. The walls are broken down. Read on.
The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold.
The precious sons of Zion at one time were comparable to fine gold in caliber, stature. Remember, we would read all about the stories about Solomon, and he put gold on the rider's hair, and they'll ride around the countryside, and the light's shining on the gold hair, and it's shining against the mountains, and it's majestic and powerful. And I think everybody was in purple, and he was in white.
Yeah,
it was a phenomenal scene to see. That's what we once were when we were at our height. Read on.
How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers?
Now we're clay pots. We were once esteemed as gold. Now we're earthen pots, and we don't even have the capacity to show love to our children. It's sad. We don't put the work into our kids. We don't develop them. We don't try to develop them. We sit back here. My wife is a teacher, and all the time the parents just drop their kids off and expect the teachers to do miracles. There's kids that go to these little pre-K schools. They don't get no sleep. There's no bedtime. These kids be up all night. Then they come to school and they wilding out. They want to go to sleep. Well, sure, they can't go to sleep because it's school time. Well, they're supposed to learn letters and numbers and their name and colors and stuff like this. How are they going to learn when they can't go to sleep? They can't go to sleep because the parents don't put them in a bedtime. Because the parents are smoking and drinking, playing loud music, living their life. This happens all the time. Then they sit back here when the kid's getting bad grades. Then they sit back here, I don't know why my kid's getting bad grades. The teachers ain't putting the work in. The teachers ain't sitting back and care about my kid. Like, bro, what are you doing to sit back and help this kid succeed? This happens all the time. I've learned this a long time ago. Your kid won't get screwed up in school if they always see you there. Asking questions. Participating in the worksheets. Participating in the homework. Participating, actually giving a shit. Then all of a sudden, when a parent sees you give a damn, they try harder to work with your kid. But if you never come around, you don't care whether they get C's, D's, B's, it don't even matter. Just don't get in detention. Make me come off work to get you. That's all that matters, bro. Don't let me come out of my daily routine to come get you. I can't get you at 2 o'clock. Now I'm mad because I got to come out of my life and get you at 2. But just let them go through school. I don't give a damn CD. I don't care. It don't matter. That's really how we roll, right? Anyway, read on. So we have diminished to earthen pitchers. Read on.
The work of the hands of the potter.
Went from gold to clay. Read on.
Even the sea monsters draw out the breast.
He says even the sea monsters feed their children and nourish them. Even Leviathan feeds their babies out. I think some other sea monsters out. Sea beasts. Listen, Godzilla feeds their babies out. Mothra feeds their nasty little monster babies out. Listen, they take care of their young, right? Read on.
They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel.
He says, because we're at that clay level, our women have become cruel, right? Read on.
Like the ostriches in the wilderness.
I had to sit back here and learn about the ostrich. Listen, I learned a lot of things about ostriches and just birds in general. A lot of bird species, when their kids are slow and they're behind, and it's perceived that they're slowing up the pack, you know what the birds do? They sit back and they pick them up and they throw them out the nest and let them fall to their death. That's what birds do, That's what these ostriches do, and these creatures do, the animal kingdom, If you're slowing me up, if you're cramping my style, and you're pissing me off, and I want to do this, and I got to sit back and stop and put all this extra into you, they just sit back and kill them, and let them give them gator bait. I'm dead serious. I saw literally live. It was a stork. It was like 4 babies. 3 of them were like popping and moving, and the other one was kind of like this. It was like, it took 3 minutes for this stork to like grab the stork that was kind of burrowing inside. She went like this, and she would try to bring him close to the edge. The baby was trying to get away from the edge. And she would keep grabbing it like this, and she would bring it close to the edge. And the baby was kind of like, get away from the edge. And the stork just finally got a good grab of it, and it's like,
got it.
And you just heard. Then the stork sat back here and threw all the stuff that smelled like it, threw it out too. I was like, this animal is gangster as hell. It was like there was little like little burrows stuff that was seeing. She's like, I was like, damn, you killed the baby and all evidence of the baby. And the 3 other chicks were like trying to say no. And then when they threw them out, they were like, this shit cold, bro. This shit cold as hell. There will be no arguing tonight at the bird residence. We're going to sit back here. There will be obedience. But it was messed up. He's like, he says, how these animals treat their children. And they went into the ostriches. They said the male ostrich mates with multiple female partners during mating season. So what happens is, and all the broods kind of hatch at the same time. So, say for instance, one ostrich and her brood is here, and another ostrich and her brood is here. The female ostrich will run to the other ostrich's brood and see who is if their breed looks healthier than hers. And then the other ostrich will run to the other place and see how many of the chicks are thriving and popping. Then they start fighting over who gets to take over the brood. And in the midst of their fighting, they be stomping on killing their own children. In the midst of them fighting other ostriches. So these ostriches are getting killed in the midst of them fighting for supremacy as to who takes all the brood over. Because in their head, I'm going to take your brood over, so there's a less chance that they all die. The point is, in the midst of their fighting with this other ostrich, they're killing their own children. They don't even care. That's examples of ostriches. But you know what the problem is? We're the same way, because we're so caught up into our life, what we got going on in our life, our sadness, our depression, chasing men. You know how many women sit back here chasing the next man and then neglect their children? What's the difference? That's ostrich mentality too. I'm chasing the next man, chasing the next boyfriend while my children suffer. That's ostrich behavior. I'm caught up in my life. I'm caught up with. I'm in a multiple marriage situation. I'm so caught up into this other woman and my man that I forget my children. That my children don't matter. What they need doesn't matter.
That's what the beasts do.
That's what animals do. He says we have diminished below animals. Because even sea monsters feed their children. We're like ostriches. We're going to go into more depth about ostriches in Job. Job gives us more breakdowns about ostriches. Job 39, verse 13 to 18.
Job chapter 39, verse 13.
This is more ostrich craziness. Read that. Come on, give it to me. Come on.
Job chapter 39, verse 13. Gavest thou.
Come on, we got to get it. We got to get this.
Wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich?
The answer is yes. The ostrich was given these beautiful feathers and wings. Read on.
Which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them.
He's saying that these ostrich parents are careless. They put their eggs under the dirt. They don't necessarily remember where they're at. So they'll sit back here and actually kill babies. Because I'm not thoughtful enough about creating an environment that protects them. I'm just having babies, keeping them warm, and living my life.
I'm into my image.
I'm just giving them bare minimum protection. Bare minimum necessities. Just keep them warm so they can hatch. I can't sit here all day, so let me find a place to keep them warm so I can live my life. Not realizing that creating a better environment for my children would protect them even better. But the ostrich isn't concerned with protection. The ostrich is concerned with bare minimum effort. And bare minimum effort. Because I can give my kids bare minimum and still live my life. That's the ostrich. And that's why the Most High compares the woman of our people to the ostrich. We're going to sit back and give them bare minimum food and clothing. I bought them a coat. I put food in their belly. And that's it. I ain't giving them nothing else.
It's crazy. You see a fish, they ain't raise their children. They keep them in schools. They teach them how to navigate, where to eat at, where to go. They keep them in order. And then when they grow up enough, then you break off and go do your thing. But they keep them next to them all the time.
Not ostrich world, bro. I'm giving you food and clothing and scram. You on your own. That's why the Most High calls our women at a lower level rate, like the ostrich. They're consumed with their life, and in the midst of them living their life and pursuing their lust, the children get harmed. Children get eaten by scavengers or stepped on by their own mama. Read on. Read verse 15, yeah.
God, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them.
You don't realize that animals are walking all around the wild, bro? They might kill your kids. You just want to find a bare minimum place to keep them warm so you can do you and you can scamper around and live your life and toot your feathers up. That's what women do, right? That's what our people do. Bare minimum effort so I can look cute and live my life. It's the same thing. Read on.
God, verse 16, she is hardened against her young ones.
This says the ostrich's nature is hardened against her young ones. It's all fire. It's all correction. It's all chastisement. There's no mercy. There's no love. There's no nurturing. That's why he says, my daughters are like the ostrich. There's no mercy and no love. No compassion. Just fire and brimstone. Read on.
As though they were not hers.
Listen, they're saying the ostrich, which the Most High is comparing Israel's women to, as they deal with their children like they're not hers. You're like, this is the nature of our people. And this is why we shouldn't have to teach our women how to be good mothers, but we have to. This shouldn't have to be something that we do, but we got to do it. Read on.
Her labor is in vain without fear.
Exactly, because she don't have fear about what happens next. So all the work you do is in vain if you're not putting that verse we're talking about in the infidel verse about what
5 and 8.
What was the word though? What was the word I just said? It was the providing part. The providing is that thinking and that planning out and that foreseeing. What good is being a parent if you're not putting that time into thinking about protecting them and developing them and figuring out what's necessary, what changes in your life you got to make to develop that kid? Yes.
You talking about the super numerate?
No. I said in first. It was in 1 Timothy 5 and 8. It's the providing, it's the thinking, and our parent, our the husbands, the wives, are we putting our minds into figuring out what's necessary to get these children to get the most out of them? They says the ostrich don't sit back here and put the time into development, and that's why there's always catastrophes happening to their children. Just like our people. We don't put the time into developing. We don't put the time to sit back here and figure out who these uncles are, who these cousins are, who these family members that we have our children around, and wonder why there's abuse there. We don't give a shit. We just want a break. We want some time off to go party. And we be dumping our kids out to wherever the hell we would take them. And we're not sitting back here and making sure these are healthy homes and places where they can be protected and looked after. All this abuse happens partially because of selfishness. And people want to live their own lives. This happens all the time. This is our people's dilemma. The selfish of our nation. Not everybody's this way, I know that. But for those who are, I'm talking to you. And for those who aren't, you can do better. Am I right or wrong? We can always do better. We can always work to achieve to be more patient, more merciful, more loving, more considerate. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, we didn't even finish. We didn't even finish Job, did we?
We ended at 16. Where did you want to go?
No, we gotta go to 18.
18. Verse 17. Because the Most High deprived her of wisdom, neither.
Listen, the Most High deprived that ostrich of wisdom. It's like the Most High deprives that woman who's selfish of wisdom. He deprives us from wisdom. When there's maliciousness in us, he says the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. When there's negative in us, when there's selfish intentions in us, he removes wisdom from us. So why wouldn't he remove wisdom from a woman who wants to live her life? And her heart isn't completely fixated on her children's development. So just like that ostrich has no wisdom, that selfish woman has no wisdom. Read on.
Neither hath he imparted to her understanding.
Because all she cares about is her life and what she's not getting out of her life. Read on.
Verse 18. What time she lifted up herself on high.
Then the person that the Most High has taken wisdom from, she has the audacity to get proud and not have the willingness and humility to be checked. Read on.
She scorneth the horse and his rider.
The person, this woman that has no wisdom and understanding, scorns and disrespects the horse and rider. The horse always represents what? Authority and leadership and the prince. And the scriptures are saying that this ostrich, who has no understanding, disrespects the man that's supposed to be in order of dealing with her. And that happens all the time. She's supposed to be sitting back here and serving her husband and following the structure. But this ostrich with no wisdom and understanding disrespects the husband all the time. And the Most High is like, how the hell is this ostrich with no wisdom and understanding disrespecting her man? and the leader and the head of the household. That don't make no sense. You lack wisdom and understanding, but you got an opinion. You got the audacity to be disrespectful and be proud and not take a check, but you want your kids to lock into you. They gotta take your tantrums. They gotta take your checks and be obedient. But you don't have to sit back and be obedient. You're above that. Israel gotta fix this, man. There's only so much patience the Most High gonna have for this level of wickedness and rebelliousness that's in the nation. Okay? Now, you got something? Because I'm about to go into another phase of this. I don't even think it's time for another phase. There ain't another time. Go pull your verse. It's like 10:20, bro. Pull your verse. You got something. There's another side to this, but there's no way. There's no way I'm getting to this. It's already 2.5 hours in, man. What you got? Nah. I wouldn't better. But listen, he's explaining how Israel is that ostrich. Let me pull one more verse.
Real question is, am I going to hear this information and go on one ear out the other? That's the real question.
Listen,
great class.
I mean, there's more to this. I'm in a spot where if I go into this next part, we're going to be going another hour, man. We're going to shut it down. Are there any questions? No questions?
I don't know, maybe a dumb question. Can you finish? This is very complicated. Is it possible you can go into a part 2 like next week?
I got to put 10 more verses on it, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out. All right, Israel, throughout tuning in, and thanks for listening. Thanks for coming out. God bless. No mess with you. Good night. Listen, shalom, y'all. See y'all on Wednesday.